Well, as you saw in the last video, the carb rebuild video, everything went well. The bike is still running good, but I have that popping sound still. And I've already diagnosed what the problem was. At first I thought, well, it's probably got a vacuum line I forgot to attach or something like that. But it ran good, and as I increased the throttle, it didn't go away, because normally vacuum will go away as you increase the throttle a little bit. And I thought, well, if that's the case, it'd be less popping as I increase the throttle, and it's not, it's more popping. So I thought I'd go through and diagnose it, and I did that already. I didn't completely do everything I wanted to do, but I thought I'd bring you guys along and go over what I did diagnosing this problem and what I think it is. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start it by starting the bike up and let it warm up. So I'm going to put the choke on, give it a blip of the throttle, and then I'll just let it idle. And while the bike's warming up, I wanted to show you my charging state. I have a lot of people tell me that the stator was bad on these bikes, and keep an eye on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the charging voltage. Alright, I'm going to put negative to negative, positive to positive. We'll see what we got. 14.14 volts at about 1700 RPM. I think that's really good. The charging system looks good. As you can see, I'm getting ready to do a synchronization video on my bike, but this popping I got to take care of first. Alright, hopefully you can hear that popping. I'm suspecting I have an ignition problem somewhere along the line. So what I thought I'd do is I'd try to narrow it down, see which cylinder it is. So I got me a good pair of insulated pliers, and I'm going to pull these wires off one at a time. And you can hear the idle drop down. The popping's continued still. Idle drop down. So both of these seem to be working perfectly. Let's go to the other side. Alright, let's pull this one off. You can hear that drop down. I'll pull this one. Nothing. Hear the popping? No popping. I think that the spark coming from this wire here going to cylinder number 2 is either weak or sporadic, but it's not doing enough to fire the cylinder. I think I can attach it and it does nothing. It does nothing when I take it away. So there's something wrong in this wire or in the coil or something along there, so let's check it. Alright, so now I'm going to take this air filter housing cover off so we can get to the coil wire going to the coil. I'll just leave the filter in. Right here is the wire going down to that dead cylinder. So let's go ahead and pull it off. It just unscrews. Okay. And just so you know, I did try switching the plugs out to see if I had a bad plug. These are brand new iridium plugs, but sometimes you can get brand new plugs and they could still be bad. So I switched them around and I still had a dead cylinder over here. So it's not the plugs. Because I know that's one of the first things you'd say. That's one of the first things I would think. I forgot to mention that. So we're going to check the continuity through the wire and see what we get. So we're going to put one end of the test lead into the wire that goes into the coil. I'm going to try to get all this set up. I'm going to put a screwdriver down inside of the wire because it's kind of hard to reach. So I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to probe it up here. I've got it probed down at the bottom, and we're going to see it's got 5 kiloohms. I think that's proper range for that wire. So I think we're good on the wire. So I'm suspecting what I have is a bad coil. Well, I decided to go ahead and remove my coils so I could get better at them to be able to check them. And this is what I suspect is my good coil, and this is what I suspect is my problem coil. And we're going to check the ohms in both of these. Now I checked the ohms on the primary and they were both 3.1 ohms, so that falls within spec. Didn't see a problem with that. But let me go ahead and check the ohms on the secondary here. And in case you're wondering, these wires were the wires off of the 2 and 4 cylinders, the ones that were the problem cylinders. So I'm going to reuse these wires whenever I put them over to this other coil. But as you see, I have 24.5 ohms and 24 plus or minus 3.9 ohms. So that would be up to 27.9 ohms or down to 21 something or 20 point something, 20.1. So my ohms is in a good range. But if I take this and I shake it and move it around, you can see it jumps around, which is probably pretty normal. And that's going to happen on a motorcycle. You're going to have movement. You're going to be hitting bumps and vibration from the engine and all that kind of stuff. So that's normal. So let's move these wires over to what I consider the problem coil. And I want to show you what I think I found with it. Make sure these are good and tight. Okay, so let's check these, or check this coil. Okay, you can see I have 24.38 ohms on it. But you see that? I just went to pick it up and it died. It lost all ohms just by moving it. Now you could think, well, it might be in the wire, but it doesn't do that on the other coil, so it's got to be in the coil. And I am having trouble with this coil. You see that 24 point whatever, which is showing good. But if you move it, it's showing defective. And it's going to do that in the bike. You know, it's going to move, shake, and everything else. So that coil there is bad. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I already ordered another coil. I ordered an OEM, a used one, and it's going to come with both of them. So one of those two should be good that I can put in here. I trust the OEM ones more than I do the aftermarket ones. A brand new OEM coil is going to be about $110 that I've seen, the cheapest, and that comes straight from Japan. So I think I'm going to go this route. I got 2 new coils for $20. 2 new used coils for $20. So when they come in, I'll pick back up with you. We'll check it out with the new one and go ahead and I'll put it in and see how it does. Well, my coils came in. My donor coils are supposed to be good used coils. We'll find out. We'll test them. But first I'm going to test the primary. I'll look at my old coils. I think I mentioned earlier that this was 3.1 ohms on the resistance. Let's see what it is if I measure it now. 3.0, and the other coil is right around 3, 2.9 or 3. So let's see what the donor coils are showing. 2.9. 2.9. Okay, so the part that I'm concerned with mainly is the secondaries. So we'll go ahead and take these off and we'll measure the resistance. And it should be somewhere around 20 to 27,000 ohms. I think I mentioned earlier that it was around 24 ohms. It's 24K ohms. So that's 24,000 ohms. Well, this bracket's a little bent. Kind of rubbing on it. I may have to change that bracket. That's not wanting to go on there too good. Maybe I'll just bend the bracket a little bit. Okay. So let's test this one. We'll see what it shows. 24,031. Now if you remember, when I shook it and moved it and everything, the other one, the bad coil, went down to 0. The little bit of movement like that I'm okay with. I just didn't like it when the coil dropped all the way out. Okay, so I think that coil is fine. So let's move it over to the other one. Now on mine, this coil over here was the bad one. Boy, that's really close to that bracket. See how close that one is to this one. Not much difference, but yeah, it's got a lot less gap there than that one. So I'll have to put this bracket on here, which is kind of a pain because these screws are like really tight. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this one. At least I know I have one good coil. Okay. Make sure I got it in there good. Kind of hard to hold this. Okay, now I got it. So let's see what we got on this one. Wow, that one's jumping all the way up to 30. Dropping down. That one's got a bad coil in it too, I think. Yep. That one's doing the same thing. So I got a bad coil in this one. At least I know this coil is good, so I will swap this coil over into this one. I'll just leave my bracket and everything on here since I have to move the coils. So I'll move this one over to here, then I'll put this in my bike. Okay, the coils are all installed, all the wires back on and everything. In case you're wondering how you take the coils out, you have to take this out first. It sits up here. I'm going to put that back in a second. And you can see one bolt there, and there's one bolt right there. All right, I think we're good to go. I think all the coils and everything's back in correctly. So let's see what it looks like when we turn the key on. I got my high beam on. Where's the high beam? Alright, everything looks normal. Okay, so let's go ahead and choke it. Now I want to let you know that I did get my gas tank put in. It came in while I was waiting on my coils, so I went ahead and installed that, and I will have a video on that. But the fuel line from the petcock to the pump doesn't have any gas, so it may hit a dry spot there. I will turn this kill switch to on. It might have some fuel still in the carburetors. Tail light light's on because I have the tail light disconnected. I'm gonna open the door, let a little bit of this exhaust gas out. Gotta let it warm up a little bit. Okay, choke's all the way off. Yeah, it's popping a little bit still. Well, unfortunately, that did not solve the problem. I think it kind of sounded like it might have been a little bit better, but it didn't solve the problem. And I found out what that smoking was whenever I was running my bike. Whenever I put the new fuel tank on, I didn't have the clamp tight enough and it was spewing gas out. Fortunately, I caught that before it heated up too much, and I tightened the clamp up and it's not leaking anymore. So now what we're going to do is, I'm pretty sure that those coils are good. The coils that I tested, that one, you saw it would fall out. And I think that's the problem this was displaying, is it would pop because it would fire sometimes it wouldn't. So now I want to double check to make sure that I got fire down here on the spark plug with it running. If it's still doing it, you know, like if it's not getting good fire, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go some other direction, but I have compression and it's good compression, so the engine itself should be good. The coil's checked out. I checked the wire out and it's got 5,000 ohms, 4.9 thousand ohms. So the wire and boot and all that stuff is good. Spark plugs are brand new, they're good. We'll have to move on. We're not going to stop until we get it, whatever it is. So what we're going to do, no, we're not going to pull this spark plug. What am I doing? I got another spark plug here I forgot about. I'm going to leave that in because I'm going to start the engine. I don't want it popping out of that cylinder. So I'm going to put the spare plug I have into the wire. I'm going to set it down here and I'm going to start it. And we're going to watch this spark and we're going to see if this spark is consistent and nice and blue. If it is, I'm going to have to move on to something else. Oh yeah. It's like a real nice spark. That's not the problem. Yeah, it's a steady bluish color spark, so that's definitely not the problem. Alright, well, I think my coil was good. The used one of the donor coil that I just put in it. Everything's looking good on the spark. As you saw, it's got a nice blue spark and it's consistent. So I don't think it's a spark issue. I know that I have good compression, had over 150 psi, so that's not the issue. I know I've got new spark plugs. I've checked those and those are working. That's not the issue. Carburetors are clean, so I know that's not the issue. I got a new air filter. So really there's only one thing left in my mind that it could be that's causing this popping, And I think it's going to be probably a carb synchronization. I think that's what it's going to need. And unfortunately, I'm not going to do it in this video. I'm going to wait till the next video. I'm kind of out of time. So anyway, look forward to that in the next video, and we'll see how it goes. All right, thanks for watching. See you then.